Show on Twitter using the hashtag AskStock. Tonight's show is presented by Ascend Federal Credit Union, the exclusive credit union of Blue Raider Athletics. Bud Light, it's for the fans. And Ascension St. Thomas, official hospital partner of MTSU. Now with head coach Rick Stockstill, here's the voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters.
Glad to have you in tonight here at the Boulevard. Chip Walters along with the head coach as we bring you episode number 2 of Rick Stockstill Live for the 2023 football season. And I promise you we are going to get the freshest practice news that we will have had in quite a while, because Coach Stock just came rolling in here on 2 wheels, and I'm sure with a police escort from the MTSU Police Department. But glad you're here.
No, I was obeying the speed limit on campus and in town. I wasn't getting any speeding tickets.
Yep,
I did good. I was good.
We don't
plenty
need
of time, like Mark Owen says.
That's right.
4th and 1.
4th and 1, and
don't panic.
And you roll in here when our station's got a cue that the show started in 20 seconds. So anyway, you grab a breath there. I'm going to run through the week's scores in Conference USA. Grab yourself some ice water there, and we'll get rolling here as the day goes along. This past weekend was the first full weekend of Conference USA football, and there were games all across the length and breadth of the country involving Conference USA teams. SMU and Louisiana Tech matched up down in Dallas, and it was SMU with a 38-14 win. Liberty over Bowling Green by a 34-24 score. Jacksonville State with an impressive 49-3 win over East Tennessee State. Jack State, after week 1, is 2-0 overall. Western Kentucky down South Florida in a game that had some crazy stuff happen in it, 41-24. FIU was a winner over Maine, 14-12. It was UTEP winning over Incarnate Word, 28-14. New Mexico State down the Leathernecks of Western Illinois, 58-21. And BYU and Sam Houston played out in Provo. And Sam Houston very good defensively against a good BYU offense, and BYU wins it 14-0. But of course, our game was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, against the 3rd or 4th ranked Crimson Tide, depending on which poll you looked at. Alabama gets the win 56-7 over Middle Tennessee to open the season. And Coach, it's a lot of times, a game is what it is, but that was one where you left there thinking, man, there were a lot of really good things that happened in that football game, but give Alabama credit. They are an excellent football team that, it's like a really great hitter against a pitcher that makes a mistake. They're going to be able to take advantage of your mistakes, and that turned into a couple of late first-half touchdowns that kind of turned the ball game around.
Yeah, they're as good as advertised. I mean, you can't lose sight that they won 11 games last year and lost 2 of them, lost 2 by a total of 4 points on the last plays of the game. So it was an excellent football team. We knew we had to play our best to have a chance. And obviously we didn't play our best, but I left there and I told, most of the guys on the sideline the last, couple minutes of the game there that, man, don't hang your head. You fought your tails off, and I'm proud of you. We're going to have a heck of a team. And we got, those guys are really, really talented. But they knew they were in a fight. We didn't back down. We didn't flinch. And we gave them our best, and our best wasn't good enough. And sometimes you're going to get in fights like that, and we were in a fight. And but I'm extremely proud of our team, and we made enough mistakes that we've got to get corrected and move on to this next game, because you're playing another SEC team that's very, very talented. And, so it doesn't get any easier.
You went in to the Alabama game with a plan of who you thought they were going to play at quarterback, and that played out. Speaking of as good as advertised, that young man was really, really good with not only his legs but his arm.
Yeah, I thought I talked to him after the game and just told him how impressed I was with him. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's big. He's strong. he broke some tackles and, did an excellent job, improvising and making some things happen with his feet. But I was really, really impressed with his throwing. He threw the deep ball really well. Had a nice touch on it. Very,
one more to go as you get. Go right ahead.
Very accurate with the ball, and I liked his, the poise and the leadership that he looked like he was playing with. And again, I don't coach him, I don't know him, but just watching him out there, he never seemed rattled. He was in complete control the whole game. So I thought he was an excellent quarterback.
One of the things you talked about yesterday at your press conference that you really felt confident and felt really good about how your defense played and stopped the run outside of quarterback runs, but the traditional run game with running backs, that you felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, as big as their offensive line was, you guys that were there or watched it on TV, you could see that we didn't get much of a pass rush because they were just too big. They swallowed us up. And but I thought our front did a really good job. Our linebackers did a really good job. In the run game, the quarterback broke out 2 or 3 times, but those backs are special. Those backs are really talented also, and they got some yardage. But for the most part, I thought we did a good job. We held our own in there, and we didn't embarrass ourselves from that standpoint. So I was proud of our guys, and again, I don't know what you get looking at it on TV or up in the stands there, but field level, those guys were really, really big, really strong, really physical, and I was proud of what we did up front against them.
You look at their skill players are one thing, but when you look at their linemen, to me, that's where you see a ton of difference. You go to a Titans game, you see offensive linemen that can run. Alabama has those guys. A lot of schools may have 1 or 2 of those kind of guys. Alabama's got them all the way across the front line.
No, they're the best of the best. And somebody told me yesterday that I guess they put a stat on TV that Alabama's offensive line was bigger than every NFL offensive line. Height, weight, all that.
Right.
And I believe it. I mean, they walked around, pregame warm-ups without a uniform on. I knew who they were because they had a T-shirt with their number, and I mean, they were ginormous without pads, So, but they're getting the best of the best out there, and us group of 5 guys, we're going to have good skill guys, that equal skill guys. Sometimes that that the Power 5 guys have, but a lot of times the discrepancy is in just in your offense and defensive lines, how much bigger they are. And but again, I thought our offensive line hung in there and fought, did a nice job, and I thought our defensive line hung in there and fought and did a nice job.
And that's going to bode well.
Yeah, they got another. We have another tough task ahead of us, but we're not going to back down from anybody. And I like this team. And I said it after the game, and we'll keep on plugging and working and get ready for this one this week.
Absolutely. Middle Tennessee goes to Missouri this week. I want to remind you we are at the Boulevard, live just across from campus, our favorite sports bar and grill here in Murfreesboro. Please stop by and give us a visit tonight. We're here until 7 o'clock this evening, back on our Monday schedule next Monday. And, of course, our game this week at Missouri kicks off at 6 o'clock. We'll have our tailgate show beginning at 4:30. We'll be back to the Boulevard after this timeout. More Rick Stockstill live from the Blue Raider Network and Learfield.
The game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey Blue Raider fans, this is Coach Rick Stockstill. Have you heard about the MTSU debit card from Ascend Federal Credit Union? This is exactly what you need for your busy lifestyle. Need some cash? Use this card fee-free at Ascend's 2 on-campus ATMs and at thousands of ATMs worldwide. Bank where the Blue Raiders belong. Ascend Federal Credit Union, exclusive credit union of Blue Raider Athletics.
Ascend is federally insured by NCUA. Visit us at ascend.org.
Put Lee Company on your team to keep you and your family warm this season. Their expert technicians can perform a 22-point inspection and tune-up to ensure your HVAC system is good no matter how cold it gets. Their expert technicians can perform a 22-point inspection and tune-up to ensure your HVAC system is good to go no matter how cold it gets. And while you're at it, ask them how to get endless hot water by installing an energy-efficient tankless water heater. Schedule your appointment today at leecompany.com or give them a call at 615-867-1000. Lee Company, all you need.
The MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 130,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching, entertaining, researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment adds value to your degree. Are you connected to the MTSU National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com to share what you're doing. Update your information and see how you can be involved and informed. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
The way we do work has changed. Where we work, how we work, and the day-to-day challenges we face as businesses have evolved. As organizations continue to adapt, RJ Young is here to help. We're your one-stop for technology solutions that power your business. Whether it's office technology and equipment, managed IT services, business process outsourcing, or digital communications, we can help make your workflows easier, faster, and more efficient so your team can focus on the core of your business. To learn more about what RJ Young can do for you, visit themodernoffice.com.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in supporting and treating Middle Tennessee State University athletes, providing expert treatment of injuries to bones, joints, or muscles. TOA's team of orthopedic specialists can get you back in the game. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Injured? Visit one of our many ortho urgent cares, or to make an appointment, call 1-855-NEED-TOA or visit www.toa.com. TOA, the official team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Rick Stockstill Live coming to you from the Boulevard tonight. Our show is brought to you in part by the Lee Company. Blue Raider fans, get ahead of the game with the best home services team in town for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, and home improvement needs. Lee Company is the team to call. 615-867-1000 or leecompany.com. And Coach, the coin toss went to Alabama. They deferred. You got the ball. Came out and ended up having to punt on the first possession. And one of the key plays of the game happened right there on the punt with a targeting call. And it was one of those that, by the letter of the rule, did you feel like it was one? And kind of give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, by the letter of the rule, it was definitely a good call. But it's so hard to me, and we'll never go back on the targeting because then it's going to make it look like, we don't emphasize it enough. But there was no intent. I mean, he's flying 50 yards down there, and the guy catches the ball and starts to make a move, and he lowers his head, So, I mean, Deontay was going at him low, but he just, when he dropped his head, and Deontay's got to do a better job of keeping his face up. But it was such a hard call. I mean, not hard, but, it's hard to fault, Deontay because it happened so fast and there was no intent. There was nothing malicious about it. It was just, two guys playing football at 100 miles an hour, and one moved a half an inch, and that caused the targeting. So, but yeah, it was a correct call.
It looked like just a really good punt coverage play, and when the flag came out, I think there was about 102,000 in the stadium that everybody was kind of surprised to see it.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience here playing, all these SEC guys is and getting the stats at the end of the year, the SEC has got a higher rate of targeting calls, especially out of conference games, than other conferences. So, and that's what I was talking to the guys. They're always going to err on the side of protection, which is good. They're always going to err, I think. They're going to look at targeting a little bit closer than, because that came from the box. It didn't come from on the field.
Oh, really? They got buzzed down.
Yes, sir.
So what is Deontay's situation? Is he
can play this week?
Because it happened in the first half,
correct?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he sat out the first half when it happened. Then his punishment was the second half. So
he's good to go.
Yes, sir.
So good. Well, I mean, and that's one of those things that, like I talked about right off the top, where Alabama's good enough to take advantage of your mistake. They turn right around, come down, get a couple of first downs. They started at the 37-yard line, I think, and at their own 37, and get it to the 21. And on a busted play, Milroe was able to pick it up and end up going around the end and using his athletic ability to score.
Yeah, just not much you can say. I mean, we just didn't make the play, and he did. It was a bad snap, and he was able to get it and make something happen on his own. And we had guys over there to make a play, and we didn't make the play. He did. Give him credit, and he's a phenomenal athlete, and it showed on that play.
Early on, when drives stalled, you chose to use both punters. And, when you replaced Kyle Ulbrich, who was so good, you had both of the guys in camp, Turk and Tillman, and they alternated. And was there any verdict about how those two guys were after that game? Because they both did really good things in the ball game.
Yeah, and I talked to them before the game and told them what I was going to do, because neither one of them separated themselves in camp. So I wasn't going to say this guy was it, because he didn't earn it. And I said we're just going to do this and we'll figure it out as we go. So, but I thought both of them did an excellent job, and we'll continue to do that and see until somebody separates and says they're the guy. So I don't have any issues with Trey or Miles. They both did a really, really nice job.
And in a perfect coach's world, do you want one of those guys to separate and take the job?
You would like to, yeah. I mean, it's no different.
And that's with any position.
No different than anything. That you want a guy. But the good thing is, just like any position, that you feel good if they'll continue to do that. You'll feel good about giving both of them an opportunity to play, because, they practice and, they deserve to play. So as long as they're performing and producing at a high level, we'll keep doing that until somebody actually separates themselves, from the pack.
So we'll see that again Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But speaking of those guys as a unit, they did a terrific job. I think you averaged over 50 yards a kick or right at it, and still being able to. And it's not always just the punter, but the special teams play and punt coverage over the last couple of years seems to have really taken a step up and been something you could really hang your hat on.
Yeah, well, I've been really pleased with our special teams. We let two get out. The bad thing about it, they had two returns for over 60 yards, and our net punt was still over 40. And if you can net punt over 40 in a game, it's pretty dadgum good. So if we'll clean up, the one punt Trey had on their sideline, coming off the goal line, it was a little low, and they fielded it on the bounce, and they got outside of us down our sideline for a little bit. And, so we got to be better than that. And then the other one, DJ did a really, really nice job flying down there and, taking a shot. Didn't get him on the ground, but his effort was really good. And, Kool-Aid, you got a name like Kool-Aid, like I said, you're pretty dadgum sporty.
Yep.
And
you got to live up to it.
He lived up to it. So he made a nice play on there. So he was the number one punt returner in the country last year for a reason. So we let two get out, but for the most part, we did a nice job.
All right, Alabama wins the game. We'll talk about some other Blue Raiders who made a nice name for themselves on Saturday night down at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Right now, timeout. We'll step aside from the Boulevard. More Rick Stockstill Live after this on the Blue Raider Network from Learfield.
Winning requires the right gameplay. Like the impressive towing and payload you'll only find in the 2023 Ford F-150 truck. No wonder Ford F-Series are America's best-selling trucks 45 years straight. The 2023 Ford F-150. Greatness starts here. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Las Casas Drugs is a proud sponsor of Blue Raider Athletics, located at 4702 Las Casas Pike, just minutes from Murfreesboro. Las Casas Drugs strives to provide all of your pharmaceutical needs in that hometown atmosphere you deserve. Family-owned and operated, Las Casas Drugs offers free delivery, immunizations, drive-through window, gift shop, merchandise, and medication management programs. Come by and see how we can make a difference. And go Blue Raiders.
It's never lost on Window World that your home is your largest physical investment. Window World's integrity will be noticed from your very first moment of contact. The clean, professional installation of premium windows, siding, doors, and more are designed to last while leaving your home looking amazing. Window World and their lifetime warranty will always be there when it really matters. They're America's most trusted remodeler and proud partner of Middle Tennessee Athletics because the difference is integrity and always in the details.
Middle Tennessee Electric proudly supports the Blue Raiders, and we're proud to power the scoreboard lights at Floyd Stadium. When it comes to the electric service in the community, you can always trust MTE to do what's best for our members. We serve by providing affordable, reliable, safe electricity and outstanding member services. Here at MTE, we serve to make life better for our members and their communities. Visit MTE.com to learn more. And about that scoreboard, well, light it up, Blue Raiders.
You buy something because you found it at a low price, and soon you realize it's no bargain because you really needed something better. It happens all the time, especially with car insurance. But the good news is you can get the right coverage at the right price. Just talk to me, State Farm Agent Bud Morris. I'll help you get the right coverage at a price that's right for you. Call me at 893-1417 today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Bud Morris, providing insurance and financial services.
Hey Blue Raiders fans, the Mid Gaming Hall Kentucky Downs is a proud partner of your Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. For good times and big wins, the Raiders and the Mid Gaming Hall deliver both. Located close by in Franklin, Kentucky, the Mid Gaming Hall is your spot for great food, cold drinks, and big jackpots. Ready for dinner? The all-new Iron Steakhouse awaits you. Come hungry and be prepared to be impressed. Check out themidgaming.com for all the details. Get your big hit today.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the Boulevard tonight as Rick Stockstill Live continues. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll have a guest from the University of Missouri, so we'll be getting a little scouting report on the Tigers. But, Coach, you went into the game with Nick Vattiato, and obviously there's always a lot of the magnifying glass on the quarterback. And in the situation where, you know, he's got that offensive line in front of him, he's got to trust, and going against a very good defensive front, kind of how did you feel that Nick played on Saturday?
I thought Nick did a really nice job. I thought he was very poised. I thought he kept his composure throughout the game. I thought he did a good job of, you know, leading our offense and getting guys going. He was really good on the sideline. You know, I thought he played really well. You know, the lights weren't too big for him, so to speak, and really proud of what he did. You know, he's made some good throws, made some good runs. He hung in the pocket in there and didn't panic. You know, so I thought he did a really nice job.
Well, a couple of guys on the offensive side. Someone's always going to reveal themselves in the opening ball game, and Jerkale Middlebrook, man, he has some wiggle to him, and he did not take one step backward all night. Kind of talk about him and tell us a little bit of his story.
Yeah, you know, again, Jay Mid, he's been here, you know, for 2 months, and you know, really, I guess the first scrimmage that we had in August is when, you know, he started showing some flashes of, you know, a little bit of speed, a little bit of wiggle. And,
he's got really good hands, catches the ball really well out of the backfield. And he just kept getting better and better. And, Frank was hurt, and then
Flip did good things.
Then Terry Wilkins got hurt, so he got, a few more reps than he was initially you thought you were going to get as a true freshman in August. And, we're going to play him, and he's got a chance to be a really, really good player, in the future for us. But really, really proud of what he did. Had a great little run, had a nice little catch out of the backfield, and, his first college game against the number 3 team in the country, and, he didn't go in there and, do something down his leg. He did a really good job.
But like you said, he's been here just 2 months. Is it one of those situations where he's young enough not to know that he's supposed to be?
No,
you know what I mean?
He's got a great demeanor. I love his smile. I love his work ethic. He's a really, really good dude. And, I love being around him. He comes to work every day. He's got a great attitude, and he's a lot of fun to coach.
Well, Bryce Bailey, wide receiver out of Cochran, Georgia, caught Middle Tennessee's only touchdown pass of the night. He's a 5'10", 168-pound redshirt sophomore, one of those guys like we see a lot of around here, but he had his moment and made it count.
Yeah, Bryce hadn't played a whole bunch, since he's been here, and he got in there, and that was his first touchdown catch, and, really happy for him because, he's the same guy every day. He shows up, does a good job, he works, he competes, and like I said, he doesn't play a whole bunch, but never complains. He's on all the special teams, and just does a really good job. And I'm proud of Bryce and what he does and how he goes about his work.
So he is. Is he going to be seeing him in that regular rotation with that stable of receivers you have?
He'll continue to play, and just I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to play 40, 50 snaps a game, but he's in the rotation, and he'll get in there. He played some, last year he was in there and played a little bit, so he'll keep working, and we'll keep utilizing him.
What about the rest of your receiving core? How'd you feel like they played?
I was, I thought Holden Willis did a nice job. I thought he competed really hard. Sherm did okay. Had a couple missed assignments, but, he blocked his tail off. Metcalf was good. Kellen Stewart, all those guys did a nice job. It's just, it's hard to say that, because none of them caught a bunch of balls, but they did all of them did a nice job. You're not. I'm not going to sit up here and say that because of what they did against Alabama, they can't play. No, I can't say that because they all did did some good things and did some things that they got to improve on. But I was proud of our receivers and what they did.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We're at about halftime of Rick Stockstill Live, and got a halftime guest coming up, Howard Richards, who is the analyst on the Missouri Radio Network, and he's a number 1 first-round NFL draft pick. We'll be talking to him when we return to the Boulevard. After this, you're listening to Rick Stockstill Live on the Blue Raider Network from Learfield.
Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity that could have changed your life. Maybe you're just graduating high school, or are working and need to earn a degree to advance your career. Or you aspire to be a leader, and a graduate degree can make that happen. Whether you're just starting out or retooling for the future, Middle Tennessee State University can help you get there. MTSU, the University of Opportunities.
Roscoe Brown is proud to be a longtime partner of MTSU Athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company. Roscoe Brown will be celebrating 83 years in business and has been the trusted name in heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 1-888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders.
Roscoe Brown. RoscoeBrown.com.
For close to a century, doctors and care teams at Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford have been dedicated to delivering compassionate, personalized care to Rutherford County and surrounding communities. We are leading the way with new services and healthcare options, and we continue to make significant investments in Rutherford County. In 2023, we're opening Tennessee's first neighborhood hospital at Westlawn, and expansions at our Rutherford Hospital campus are underway. Find all the care you need at ascension.org/St. Thomas Rutherford.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around. After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I drink and drive all the time.
Hello? Hey, Salib, it's Dan.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys.
Go
Fans
to
don't
on
let
your
fans
Zoom
drive
where it
drunk.
says where the microphone
Brought to you by
is.
the Tennessee
Click
Highway
the
Safety
arrow.
Office.
At Kroger, you can find the highest quality products at a great price in every aisle, every day with Kroger brand. So you can stock up on your household favorites that are tried, tested, and loved by you. Because when you get the products you love at great prices, it feels like winning.
Are they
Shop
in
now
break
in
yet
the
or
store
no?
or online. Kroger,
All right,
fresh for
bring the
everyone.
PC up. Yeah. On the access, or it's going to access now.
Since its inception
Check
in
and see if they're still
2004,
getting.
the Tennessee Lottery has proudly provided
Because he
funding
Howard
for
should be
education
hearing
programs
spots
throughout the
right now.
state. Scholarships and grants, including the Hope Scholarship, Tennessee Promise, as well as technical school grants and more, have received over $7 billion in funding. And that's led to a great deal of change. The Tennessee Lottery. Game changing.
Hang on, I'm going to put Phil on too.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back into Rick Stockstill Live tonight. We're coming to you from the Boulevard in Murfreesboro, and we are live here, and we're going to try to get in contact with Howard Richards up in Missouri. And right now, if we can get, hopefully, maybe if our studio gets unmuted, that folks can hear. I'm not sure if, I know Dan is listening in, but right now, I don't think that Howard is able to hear us. So, Coach, we'll continue on just a little bit right here before we'll see if they're able to get Howard able to hear. The ball game turned late in the first half. It was 14-0. You had an opportunity to get some points on the board, and Alabama turned around and scored a couple of times very quickly after a missed field goal. But that again is an excellent team taking advantage, and on two quick drives they really changed the complexion of the game.
Yeah, and the first one was after that punt return that I was talking about that went down our sideline that, we were kicking, from the back, on our end of the field, and they got down there and got, whatever, the 35, 40-yard line, and they cashed in from there and then kicked off, and I think that's when we had the mess up, on the fair catch, and put them on it. We punted again from a short field, and they go in, they hit a touchdown on that one. So it was 14 quick points there in the last 5 minutes of the half, and that's when you play teams like that, that's how quick it can turn on you. So and then they come out of the second half and they score, on their first possession, and you look at, we talk about the middle eight, all the time, and the middle eight there, they probably scored 21 points. To close the half and to start the third quarter.
Yeah, and you don't need to help them. They're good enough as they are.
Yep, they're pretty good, and We got Devin Curtis in here and Nick Vadiato too. So y'all back there hiding. You can come back here, and I know you can hear me. Wave at me, Devin, so everybody can say hi, Devin. Hi, Nick. You can wave at me.
That's both of your signal callers right there. You got the guy calling the offense, and you got the guy getting you in the right sets on defense, right?
Yeah, that's. See if they'll buy me some chicken wings tonight.
Well, you know, in the world of NIL, sometimes that has to happen. Make sure the coach is taken care of, right?
CIL, coach image likeness.
The coach image and likeness, indeed. How did you address your team at halftime? It was 28-0, and again, it kind of got there, fairly quickly late in the second quarter to kind of get things settled back in.
I think I just reminded them control what we can control, and we got in that situation 28-0. A lot of it was more us than them, and we let the quarterback scramble out on a busted play. We had some penalties that nullified a nice catch there, and most of the damage, the punt team there, or the punt team, when they got the return, we gave up an explosive play after that to close the half. That a lot of the stuff that we were doing was because of us, things that we can control. So you got to give them credit, because they had a little bit to do with us missing a tackle, as talented as they are. So but just trying to emphasize to them how important it is to do our job and do your responsibility, and continue to play the game as hard as you can and compete and fight and don't give up.
All right.
They did that.
I think we're connected now to Howard Richards up in Columbia, Missouri, and he is the analyst on the Missouri Football Radio Network. He was a first-round draft pick out of Mizzou in 81, played for the Cowboys from 81 to 86, Seahawks in 1987, and after that, he said, I've just got to scratch that itch a little more, became a CIA special agent, and worked overseas and coached the highest calling that he had. He was a real estate consultant in Virginia. So with that, we welcome on Howard Richards. And Howard, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me on. I just, one slight correction. I'm actually in St. Louis.
Okay.
I just commute over to Columbia for home games and to catch the Charters for away games. So other than that, you got everything correct.
Good deal. Well, tell us a little bit about the Tigers, because they got off to a good start in week one, picked up a 35-10 win over a South Dakota team that's typically pretty good in FCS.
Yeah, this is a team that, let's just go back to the 2022 season. It felt that it left a lot on the field last year. There were 4 games that this team lost by a combined total of 18 points. Auburn, Georgia, Florida, and Kentucky. 2 rather controversial plays. Let's say one against Kentucky. There was if you guys remember seeing this or hearing about it, there was a punt that sailed over the punter's head, the Kentucky punter's head, that went probably almost to the 5-yard line. And it was probably, 30, 40 yards behind the punter. And as the punter tried to punt the ball again, or tried to punt the ball for the first time, after he let it go, he was hit by a Mizzou defensive player, which resulted in a personal foul penalty. No one was even familiar with that rule. In the NFL, once that ball sails over the punter's head, hits the ground, it's a live ball. That rule has since been changed. Had it been changed or in place last season, it may very well have been a game that Missouri won. I think the Georgia Bulldogs would tell you that Missouri was the only team that challenged them all season long. Then, of course, early in the season, Mizzou played Auburn, and for all intents and purposes, it wasn't a well-played game, but Missouri could have won in regulation had Nathaniel Pete not fumbled into the end zone, resulting in a touchback. And that was kind of a heartbreaking game early in the season for the Tigers. And And then, of course, the loss to Florida, I believe, by 7 points. But those games, and I had a chance to speak to this team in the spring, as well as the coaches. And I said, if you guys are honest with yourselves, you'll admit that those teams didn't beat you beat yourselves. Too many mental mistakes, fumbles, and the like. Kind of a sign of a team that wasn't so disciplined as they should be. I believe in 2023, this team feels that it has something to prove. In fact, they're using a hashtag STP, which signifies something to prove. So they feel that they want to go out and prove they're a much better football team than they showed in 2022. Saturday's win against, South Dakota, especially the first half, I think was pretty much what I expected from both units, and also in special teams. They were able to get a partially blocked punt. Brady Cook, who was officially named the starter today, looked very sharp. I think he started either 10 for 10 or 11 for 11. I can't remember. But was very accurate, showed no ill effects from the shoulder surgery they had at the end of the season last year. And the defense played pretty well. There was a little bit of a lull in the second half, really the third quarter. But they were able to finish in the fourth quarter. They had a nice drive behind Sam Horn, the backup quarterback, and scored a touchdown on a pass to Luther Bird. So things to clean up. But I think they are probably at least on track for where they want to be. Nothing's going to be perfect in the first game, but obviously they'll have a week, 2 extra days because they played on Thursday of last week. 2 extra days to clean things up and get ready for the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee.
Well, one thing for sure is the 2 times that these 2 teams have gotten together in Columbia, they have been shootouts. I think both games, I don't think anybody has scored less than 40 in the 2-game series back early in the 2000s with the Brad Smith-led Tigers winning in overtime. Middle had an opportunity to win late in regulation, and then 7 years ago in an absolute wild game in Columbia, the Blue Raiders with Brent Stockstill at the quarterback controls for Middle was able to get the victory. So it ought to be something exciting because that's what these 2 teams do.
I probably lost the last bit of your audio, Skip, just probably for the last 20 seconds of it. But I know you were talking about the last 2 meetings. That I believe Middle Tennessee beat Missouri in Columbia the last time they played, if I'm not mistaken. They all run together now, but I think this team is built a lot different than the team that faced Middle Tennessee the last time that they played. I think they're more talented across the board, but I think that this is a team that wants to avoid stumbling out of the blocks, and taking nothing away from Middle Tennessee. But I think this Missouri team is a much better complete unit than what we saw several years back. But listen, this is why they played the games. Certainly Missouri cannot afford to take any team lightly if they're going to stay on track and try to achieve most, if not all, of their goals. But I didn't get a chance to see the entire Middle Tennessee-Alabama game. I saw probably about most of the first half. And I'll go back and watch the rest of it later today. And I could tell that there are a lot of players that were playing. Probably played, 30, 35 guys. So they were at least very fresh. I should say that. But playing against a really good Alabama team and playing in Tuscaloosa is a very difficult place to play. That said, the folks in Columbia feel that they're trying to make Faroe a more difficult place to play, and they want opponents that come in there to feel like they're at a little bit of a disadvantage when they play the Tigers.
And that's what everybody's trying to gain on their home field for sure. Howard, thanks so much for taking some time today, and look forward to seeing you this weekend in Columbia.
Fantastic, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there he is, Howard Richards, the analyst for the Mizzou Radio Network. We'll take a timeout. Back with your questions for Coach Rick Stockstill after this on the Blue Raider Network from Learfield.
The MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 130,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching, entertaining, researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment adds value to your degree. Are you connected to the MTSU National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com to share what you're doing. Update your information and see how you can be involved and informed. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in supporting and treating Middle Tennessee State University athletes, providing expert treatment of injuries to bones, joints, or muscles. TOA's team of orthopedic specialists can get you back in the game. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Injured? Visit one of our many ortho urgent cares, or to make an appointment, call 1-855-NEED-TOA or visit www.toa.com. TOA, the official team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, we're RJ Young. We offer technology solutions that power your business, school, hospital, church, law firm, and more. RJ Young will empower your office to be the modern office. That means an office that integrates technology as a business advantage, all to help you work smarter. From managed IT services, office equipment and technology, business process outsourcing, and digital communications, we're proud to be your one-stop for technology solutions that power your business. Come visit us at rjyoung.com.
Put Lee Company on your team to keep you and your family warm this season. Their expert technicians can perform a 22-point inspection and tune-up to ensure your HVAC system is good no matter how cold it gets. Their expert technicians can perform a 22-point inspection and tune-up to ensure your HVAC system is good to go no matter how cold it gets. And while you're at it, ask them how to get endless hot water by installing an energy-efficient tankless water heater. Schedule your appointment today at leecompany.com or give them a call at 615-867-1000. Lee Company, all you need.
You buy something because you found it at a low price, and soon you realize it's no bargain because you really needed something better. It happens all the time, especially with car insurance. But the good news is you can get the right coverage at the right price. Just talk to me, State Farm Agent Bud Morris. I'll help you get the right coverage at a price that's right for you. Call me at 893-1417 today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Bud Morris, providing insurance and financial services.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back into Rick Stockstill Live tonight on this Tuesday night. Don't forget, next week we go back to our normal Monday night schedule. And want to remind you that tonight's show is brought to you by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Middle Tennessee State University Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Coach, some questions coming from the audience tonight, and Jennifer says, doesn't have a question, just to comment that it was so good to see Jonathan Butler playing healthy. He and others are such a difference makers when they're at full strength, and that continues on a weekly basis, that you fight that week in, week out, and hope they can all stay healthy.
Yeah, Jonathan, he's been through a lot and continues to go through a lot. So it's good to have him out there, but we got we lost several guys in the game, but hopefully we can get them back here. You know, some of them won't get back to the end of the year, or won't be back, and hopefully a couple of these other guys will get back in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, the one we saw, Jalen Rayham was the one we saw who had to be helped off the field and was kind of going easy on his right leg. So hopefully all of those guys are back as quickly as they possibly can. From Don, He wants to know, Coach, what is the determining factor on kick returns, whether it's a return or a fair catch? And these kickers have gotten so good now at putting the ball right at the goal line and forcing teams to make a decision right there.
Well, it starts in the week, and we'll always chart and see how many guys they have at the 30-yard line or past the 30-yard line when the guy catches the ball. And if they've got more than 3 guys, I'm predetermining. I'm telling them, unless that ball is caught outside the 5-yard line, to fair catch it. Because if they've got more than 3 guys, the chances of you catching the ball inside the 5 and getting to the 25 aren't very good. Last year we were 8th in the country, I think it was, and very seldom did we return any. So we'll fair catch it because it's so much harder to get to the 25. You go back to the bowl game, San Diego State. I don't know why they kept bringing it out. They had 4 straight penalties, blocks in the back where they started inside the 15. And then late in the game when, the game was over, I told Kellen, I said, if you field it in play, if it's on the 1 or, out, bring it out. Let's see how we do, how we block and all that kind of stuff. And one of them went in the end zone and the other one he was able to return. So we're going to lean more to fair catching than returning.
How much metrics do you guys use for that, and how much of it is gut?
Gut. We're going to study. I'm going to study and see.
You're going to have the information.
You're going to look at the film and just see that, hey, they got 5 guys inside the 30-yard line. When you catch the ball, your chances of you getting to the 25 aren't very good. So that's where it starts, and then you work on things and you tell them that if you can catch it, in the 6-7 yard line range, let's go ahead because you got a pretty decent chance of getting to the 25.
Well, you answered Tommy's question earlier about the targeting call and the penalty and how it was called, but I'll kind of expand on that just a little bit. It was the first game under several new rule changes, and we heard Howard talk about one of them. But the big one is that people see is not stopping the clock after first downs. Did it have any effect on how you guys called the game, played the game, or did it just like water off a duck's back?
Well, you're cognizant of it. You're aware of it. You got a plan for it and everything. And but it did not affect us in this game, and I doubt very seriously it affected Alabama in the game either. You watched the one last night, the Clemson game, and when they're trying to move the ball with 2.5-3 minutes left, and the clock's not stopping on a first down, that you can see the effect there. But the data after the first week, that we got there said that the average, 4 plays was the average compared to last year.
Per game or per half?
Per game.
Per game. So really, it's just a difference. In our game in Tuscaloosa, both teams had snaps in the 60s, I think.
Yeah.
So it had a nice pace to it.
Yeah, and I'm not in favor of it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think it's, we cut back on so much other stuff, that don't take plays away from the game, So I think there's other ways that you can, shorten the game, if they're so, hung up on that.
All right. We need to take our final break. We'll get Coach's thoughts on the opponent, the Missouri Tigers. That'll be Saturday night, 6 o'clock, and you'll hear it on the Blue Raider Network. We'll take a timeout. Back for the final segment with Coach here on the Blue Raider Network from Learfield.
For close to
Clear.
a century, doctors and care teams at Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford have been dedicated to delivering compassionate, personalized care to Rutherford County and surrounding communities. We are leading the way with new services and healthcare options, and we continue to make significant investments in Rutherford County. In 2023, we're opening Tennessee's first neighborhood hospital at West Lawn, and expansions at our Rutherford Hospital campus are underway. Find all the care you need at ascension.org/St. Thomas Rutherford.
You know, I've always wanted to go on a tour of the West Coast. No rush, just take it all in, one view at a time.
We all have things we hope to do someday. At Ascend, we offer great rates and share our profits to help make your someday soon.
Oh, and you better believe I'm renting a convertible.
Ascend Federal Credit Union. Open your account today.
Roscoe Brown is proud to be a longtime partner of MTSU Athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company. Roscoe Brown will be celebrating 83 years in business and has been the trusted name in heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 1-888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders.
Roscoe Brown. RoscoeBrown.com.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around. After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back for the final segment of Rick Stockstill Live tonight. Going to have to beef up security up here around the table right there, Coach.
Sir?
So we have to beef up security. We had some riffraff
Mark
come up this
Holmes.
way. Hey, it's Missouri this week. Middle went up there 7 years ago. Your son was the starting quarterback in a wild game that the Blue Raiders won 51-45. And one of the things I remember about that game is that Missouri's offensive coordinator that day was Josh Heupel. Obviously, things have happened in his career as well. The Blue Raiders have continued to move on and do good things. And you mentioned it yesterday, and it's still hard for me to digest that the biggest part of your players on this year's team were in middle school when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's
just the way it is.
Yeah, that was 7 years ago, and maybe they were in high school, but some of them had to be in middle school. But no, that was a great game, a great day, and a lot of great players out there on both sides. And we were fortunate that weekend or that day to come out with a win. So Missouri's a really talented team. They're extremely fast. At receiver, at running back, and linebacker is where their speed to me really shows up. They're not as big as Alabama, but they still have really good size. I don't know. I hope we don't play anybody as big as Alabama again, but it's a really talented team. Their quarterback can throw the ball well. He's got good skilled players around him, and they do a good job.
Eli Drinkwitz came there from Appalachian State. This is his third or fourth year. What type of personality, when you watch them play and saw them on film, what are they trying to get done?
They're a fast tempo team on offense.
They want to play that way.
They're going to go as fast as they can, and they're a blitzing, attacking defense. They're going to come after you. Their defensive coordinator was at La Tech, when Manny Diaz was there, and so he's kind of in that same tree, that same family. So we're going to see a lot of different blitzes, a lot of different pressures, kind of like what we do defensively, what Coach Schaefer and our staff do. So it's a up-tempo defense. It's an up-tempo offense.
What do you got to do to make lightning strike in Como for a second time?
I think the big thing is, again, when you're playing these type teams that you can't give them anything. So we got to do a good job protecting the ball, and we've got to keep the ball in front of us. Their receivers are really dynamic. So we've got to do a good job of keeping the ball in front of us and protect the ball and just get a little bit better than what we were this past week.
All right, let's go get him, Coach.
I appreciate you, Chip.
All right, Coach Rick Stockstill with his comments tonight. Blue Raider Network broadcast at 4:30 on Saturday from Columbia, Missouri. Until then, good night for the Blue Raider Network from Learfield.
Clear.